Most people in Alaska appear preoccupied with the present oil pipeline boom and, to a lesser extent, with the upcoming fight to build a natural gas pipeline. As a result, there's been little time to try to think out what kind of Alaska is desired 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or at the end of the century. Last week, returning to Fairbanks from a tour of the Trans-Alaska pipeline, Senator Mike Gravel had some reflections on the type of society that oil revenues could build in this state.
Well, for the next 10 to 15 years, that development is going to take place, and that will be a little bit like pregnancy. It'll have its uncomfortable periods. But once it's realized, we'll have a level of sophistication in our economy that will permit us a great deal more latitude to imaginatively develop methods to really enrich the quality of life we have in Alaska.
Some people have stated earlier that these large amounts of money coming into Alaska might not necessarily be good for the quality of life or living here. Do you believe that this may be the case?
No, I think they're taking a very myopic view with respect to money represents the capability to do things. If you're poor, you're very limited in your options. If you have some money, some wealth, you can expand those options. Now, if you have no imagination to do this, then obviously it's a waste. I happen to think that the people who populate Alaska are a very rugged, imaginative, and resourceful group of people. And that with this blessing of wealth, that they will acquit themselves very well. I think we have a good track record with that already. With the monies we've thus far received from our oil, we've enriched our educational programs. We've tried to do some new and imaginative things with respect to communications, and I think that there's a whole host of other things to be done to sort of equalize the burden of transportation and the nature of transportation, to also additionally improve our communications, our health facilities. There's just many areas where we can spend this wealth, invest the wealth in ourselves, and so that when the oil and gas is gone, that we will have made the necessary capital investments to provide a stability of income in perpetuity.
Do you believe that this type of development in Alaska would result in greatly increased population, increased urbanization?
No, I don't think that we have to assume that this wealth mandates a glut of people, mandates an industrial society that we know may not be all that attractive. Probably the best example of that is the decision we're now making with respect to Devil's Canyon. There's going to be a lot of power generated on the Susitna River. Now, there are private interests that would like to use that power because it's cheap to manufacture aluminum. They would bring bauxite to Alaska, we'd process it and export it. Well, from my point of view, why should we give the cheap power, or the Susitna River, we've only got one Susitna River, why should we give the cheap power of that river to some outside economic interest when we could guarantee that cheap power would go to the people who presently live in a rail belt area? So in my role as a leader, I can assure you that I'll be pushing the use of cheap power on a domestic for the people who live here and not for export.